This is Special Chronicles, giving respect and a voice to people with special needs.
Welcome to the Special Chronicles podcast, where we're giving respect and voice to people with special needs. I'm your host, Daniel Smrokowski. Today, we're coming to you live from the 2025 Speak Out Summit here in Normal, Illinois. And joining us right now at our podcast booth is a new friend who was just speaking during lunch, Eva.
Correct.
Welcome, Eva, and our parents.
Did we get it right, Eva?
Yes,
Eva.
it is correct.
Welcome. And so, can you guys, Ava, and then your parents can introduce themselves after, but can you guys introduce yourselves and tell us where you're from?
Well, so my name's Michael. I'm the proud father. And
My name is Alena.
Oh, wait, sorry. Let me unmute your mics so people can hear you.
Was it muted?
It was muted, sorry.
Okay. That's okay.
We'll start again.
Yep,
Okay.
let's start over again.
Can you introduce yourselves to our listeners?
My name is Eva. I am the daughter of my parents.
Yep. Michael and
Alena.
Awesome. And it was neat to sit, my dad and I, to sit with you guys at lunch, and then to watch the video that they showed everybody, and then to hear you speak. So can you share just a little bit of your story of what you shared on stage with everyone for our listeners?
Sure. I was born with cerebral palsy and dystonia. Cerebral palsy is a disability where the cerebellum is damaged, and I didn't have enough oxygen to the cerebellum, and I was born 3 months premature.
Awesome. Just like yourself, I was also, I think I was born like 3 1/3 months premature too.
Wow.
So we share
We have
that in common.
yeah.
And dystonia is muscle stiffness, and dystonia and cerebral palsy are combined.
Awesome. And for your parents, can you share just a little bit from your perspectives?
Yeah, absolutely. So, the pregnancy, we had no signs of any issues. Everything seemed like it was going well. And then one day the water broke, and we ended up in the hospital. They were going to originally try to keep Ava inside her mother's belly for 3 months, or at least another, a month or so, they said, at least minimum. And so that night I remember in the hospital going to bed, and 6 a.m. in the morning, the doctors came in the room. They threw the scrubs at me and said, "Hey, you're having a baby. She wants to come out." And so Ava was born. She weighed about a kilo.
I weighed 1 pound 2 ounces.
Yeah, even less. She was 1 pound 2 ounces. So she was very, very small.
Awesome. Yeah.
So we were in the NICU for about 3 months before we came home, and it was a roller coaster. Every day was different.
Yeah.
Some days we would come in and the doctors would tell us she's doing great, everything's going well. And then the next day we would come in the hospital and they would say, "Hey, we got to sit down and talk. Not sure, some things aren't looking great." So it was a roller coaster, but for us, she's a miracle. She's here. She's a fighter. We couldn't be more proud of her.
Dad, can you tell about why the doctors call you Dr. Kott?
So, sometimes you have that parental intuition. And she was having some issues with feeding. So, she was so premature, they would feed her very little bit. And it wasn't coming out, And so over time, they said that she started crashing. They had to incubate her. She went through a little bit of a stressful moment there for all of us. And I was telling them, I said, hey, I think that the problem is she's been eating and nothing is coming out. And over time, I mean, what goes in has to come out.
Mm-hmm.
And so they were telling me, no, that's not it. You know, it's this and it's that. They all different kinds of things. And so one day I ended up coming into the hospital after her dealing with this for like 2 weeks of, being incubated and just a very, very difficult time. And they said, we wanted to take a lower GI scan, and it seems like she was clogged up. And so they were calling me Dr. Kott because they said the whole time I was telling them what the issue was, and they weren't listening to me. But like I said, sometimes you have that parental intuition,
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. What does self-advocacy mean to you? This is your first time here speaking at the Speak Up and Speak Out, and so what does self-advocacy mean?
It means making the world better and making change.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
What are you most excited about being here at this conference?
Just inspiring others, and hopefully people will do the same.
Awesome. Yeah, I love that. Can you share after you got off stage, your dad said that you had a speech written, but you just even like for myself, a lot of times we have a speech, but then we just speak from the heart and go off the cuff. Can you share a little bit more about what you shared in the room behind us of how you spoke from the heart, and share a little bit more of what you shared here at the conference?
Can you repeat that?
Yeah. Can you share a little bit more about the speech that you gave here when you were on stage, and you went off the cuff? Can you?
When you decided to go off of what we wrote,
Yeah.
when you decided to speak from the heart,
Yeah.
can you share a little bit
Well,
more
yeah.
about what it was that you felt like you wanted to talk about?
I forgot what I said.
Yeah,
It's all a blur.
It's
all a blur.
I do the same thing.
Yeah.
I like, whether it's podcasting or speaking, I do the same thing and forget.
It's all blur.
It is all blur, but I'm sure it sounded like they recorded
Yes.
the speech. So
Yeah. Yeah, I think for her, the key was to try and be as, inspiring as she can be for other people that are coming up with some of the same challenges. And so we wrote a few things down, but she decided she wanted to throw some stuff in about her sister. Wanted to talk a little bit about her sister because they have a really incredible bond.
Awesome.
And I think they're both really lucky to have each other.
But sometimes we fight.
Yep. Sometimes they might get it at each other's throat a little bit.
It's kind of like a sister conflict.
That's right.
But deep down, she loves me, even though that she hates deep feelings. She understands.
She does. She
Awesome.
understands.
Can you share a little bit more about your sister and your?
Can you talk about Zoe?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Zoe is 10 years old, gonna be 11 in December 9th. And I remember December 9th, 2014, I hold Zoe for the first time, and it was a miracle.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Anything else about your sister?
I remember when she was a toddler, I saw her walk for the first time,
Mm-hmm.
and I said, "Mom, look, Zoe's walking. She's walking to the dining room."
And what does she mean to you? What does your sister mean to you?
No matter how troubled she is, she's still my sister.
All right.
Awesome.
That's a
Also, yeah, great.
Yep.
Yeah, great answer. And I'm sure a lot of people learned a lot from that part of your story and everything that you shared. Because I told you when we were when we came back to our podcast booth here that when I was your age, so I spoke a little bit when I was your age in high school, but not that, like, not on a big stage like what you did, and so it's, I mean, I guess for any self-advocates here at this conference, any age, or even hearing for the first time, to hear you speak, I'm sure that there'll be, like, the word, I guess, inspiration is thrown a lot in our
That's
disability
right.
community.
That's right.
And sometimes different people have a different view
That's right.
of that word.
That's right.
And so a lot of times, even saying that others will be empowered by your both at the conference and now being on this podcast, will be empowered by your story.
I feel like I'm like Taylor Swift because she did the podcast with the Kelsey brothers.
Yeah, yeah, just like that.
There you go.
Just like that. Yeah. I mean, I think, I mean, I've never, I don't know if I want to admit this on air, but I've never watched the podcast or radio. I've never listened to her music, but
That's okay.
But I guess
That's
but
okay.
it's, yeah.
I think it's for a different demographic.
I think so too. Yeah.
We're on the same page.
Yeah. But yeah. And so, what brought you and your parents to this Speak Out Summit? Did you get connected with Samantha, the executive director, or what brought you guys here?
Yeah. It was in our, I think, IP meeting or transition
But
meeting.
who was it?
Laura Fine.
Laura Fine.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Laura Fine emailed Samantha,
Mm-hmm.
the executive director of ARC of Illinois.
Mm-hmm. And they worked together with you?
Yeah,
Yeah. What did they do with you?
they trained me to
Speak up and speak out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Love it.
And from your parents' perspective, how do you support Eva and in this self advocacy in the community?
You want to take this one, or would you like me to?
You can do it.
I think, like anything, we support her fully with her dreams. So whatever it is that Eva would like to do, we're obviously going to support her. So whether it's taking her to meetings with people like Samantha, just being there for her when she has questions, or helping her in any way as far as like maybe writing a speech, we really try to do anything we can to just support her, because we are her biggest fans. We are her biggest supporters, and we couldn't be more proud of her.
Awesome. Yeah. Oh yeah. My dad's throwing some questions off camera here. So Eva, what do you expect? I'm trying to. Yeah. What do you expect of your parents? Because I'm sure, like a lot of us with disabilities want to be able to share our story in our own words. And so, what do you expect of your parents?
My parents are awesome. They adore me. Even if I have trouble, they still adore me,
Support you.
support me, and all the way. My parents don't think that I have a disability. They think that I'm just a regular teenager.
Yep, that's a big one.
Awesome.
I tell people all the time, because sometimes, people that don't have, the community that we have, or aren't really aware of what it's like to have a child with a disability. Sometimes they'll see Eva and they'll tell me like, "Oh, I'm so sorry," or they'll say something along those lines. And I tell them, don't be sorry for me, because when I see her, I don't see the disability. I see a perfectly normal girl. I think she is extremely bright, smart, beautiful, and I think she can do anything she wants in her life. And so I think that's my role as her dad, to be that guy. I'll be her cheerleader. I'll be her business partner. I'll be her father, and everything else she needs me to be.
Awesome. Yeah, I love that, because that's like my dad, and my mom's not here today, but she listens to a lot of the,
Of course she does.
Since day one, and even 17 years later, still gives feedback, whether I like it or not. But still, yeah. Anyway, but like even like something that, and I think probably a lot of parents that are listening in, or a lot of self-advocates like Eva, like you and myself, relate to what you both just said about how our parents don't see us with a disability, even whether it's a physical disability like CP, or an intellectual disability like myself. Our parents don't see us with having a disability, even though the outside
That's right.
world,
They might not understand.
Yeah, they might understand, but it's really supportive that our parents see us that way.
Whether it's a physical disability or emotional disability or even a mental disability, there's a quote. There's a quote that I like. I don't think of it as a disability. I think of it just a regular ability.
A regular bit, yeah, awesome, yeah. That's a perfect way, and I'm sure a lot of our listeners will take that away, that it's just a regular ability.
Absolutely.
And what do you hope others will take? Hopefully, our listeners will come out to next year's conference. But what do you hope to take away from this year's conference?
Can you repeat that?
Yeah. What do you hope to take away from the Speak Up and Speak Out Summit, this conference that we're at this week? What do you hope to take away from it? Yeah. How is it benefiting you?
I want the chair people to not wait 5 months, and I also want other people, like teenagers, to respect people with disabilities.
So that's what you're trying to bring to the people, right? And that's what you're trying to advocate for.
Yes.
But what are you trying to take away from the conference? Would you say maybe confidence?
Yeah.
How do you feel after going up there and speaking in front of everybody? Do you feel more confident?
I feel more confident. I feel proud of myself. I feel like proud.
Proud.
Mm.
Okay.
Awesome.
So pride and confidence?
Yeah.
Maybe you feel like you can do anything now, huh?
Yeah.
Awesome. I love that, and I think when you spoke on stage, Samantha said that your high school what was watching you speak here today, and so when you go back to school this week or next week or whenever you go back, what do you think the response from your classmates of all different abilities when you come back? Because I'm sure they all saw you speak on stage. They saw you go off the cuff. They might not have known that you went off the cuff, but we all know. And so, what do you think the response from your classmates is going to be?
First of all, I think my teachers would say, "Oh my gosh, Ava, I'm so proud. I'm so proud of you," and they would hug me. And I think my boyfriend would hug me too.
Okay. How about the rest of your classmates?
They would respect other people with disabilities
Yep.
and not bully them.
Okay.
Awesome. Yeah, that perfect message from your parents' perspective. What do you hope? I'm sure you guys are probably not in the classroom, but what do you hope? Whether it's Ava's classmates or families or other parents in the school, what do you hope they will?
Well, I think it kind of goes back to what we were saying earlier. I think people that don't have someone in their family with these challenges sometimes don't understand. So I guess it would just be maybe some understanding. Maybe they can see, how amazing Ava is, and they won't see the disability as much. Maybe they'll see her as more of just a peer and a person.
Or as a bright person.
Yep, and a bright person, absolutely. So I think for me that's the goal.
Awesome.
And that's what we're hoping for.
Awesome. Based on that, I want to jump back to something that Ava that you said on stage. You mentioned a movie. I believe it's called Out of Your Mind, which I have not seen it. My girlfriend who has Down syndrome has Disney Plus, and so that's how I'm able to to watch content. So I'll have to. I have not checked out the movie yet, but I'll have to. I'll have to check it out. But can you tell our listeners a little bit about this movie, Out of
My Mind?
Out of my mind, because I think our listeners, after hearing your story on this podcast, will want to go and watch it. But can you tell us a little bit about the show on Disney Plus?
Out of My Mind is a book by Sharon M. Draper. There's more books. Like, it's a series. Out of My Mind, Out of My Heart, and Out of My Dreams. So the movie Out of My Mind, it's about a girl, like a 6th grader, who has CP, and she cannot walk or talk or use her arms like her parents does, but she got a talker that talks for her. Yeah, and my grandma and I watched it, and my grandma was bawling.
Awesome.
Okay.
And you watched it with me, Dad. And what did you think?
I thought it was a very emotional movie for sure. But I think what we really want to know is how it inspired you.
Yeah.
I felt bad for the main character, and I want to help people like her.
Mhm. And was it inspirational to you?
Yeah.
In what way? How did it inspire you?
Like friends, like classmates betraying her, and
But how was that inspiring? How did it inspire you?
uh,
What was the moral of the movie?
just be yourself, and everyone will love you.
The right people, at least,
Right
right?
people.
The
Yeah.
people who need to love you will love you.
Yeah.
That's right.
Awesome. Well, yeah. Well, I'll definitely now have to.
See that.
I'll definitely now have to
Make
watch
sure
the
you
movie.
have a box of Kleenex because
Okay.
it's definitely an
Yeah,
emotional one.
I think we usually have some Kleenex in our living room, so I'll
There you go.
I'll definitely have to make sure it's by the couch.
There you go.
Just a few final questions before as we wrap up. Why is it important for self-advocates to have the voices heard? Why is it important for you, able to have your voice heard, and then for your parents as well, from a family perspective? But why is it important for self-advocates like yourself, like myself, like the hundreds that'll hear at this conference? Why is it so important to have our voices heard?
Because, to be honest, I am the only one who has a disability in the family, and I want other people to know that they're not alone.
Awesome.
So you want people to know that you're not alone.
Yes.
Okay, and for me as a father, I think this is extremely important because I think when you have all these people coming together and sharing their stories, it's powerful, right? And it's a way to make change. And if we don't speak up for our loved ones, and if we don't speak up for ourselves, who's going to do it for us?
Yeah.
Probably nobody.
Yeah.
So as a father, this, like I said, this is our first time. It's definitely not our last time. But I think this is extremely important in getting our message out and actually making change for the positive for younger generations that are coming up and that are dealing with some of the same struggles that we're dealing with.
Absolutely. Yeah. In 17 years of podcasting, I've heard from on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter or X. I've heard from comments from parents that have been empowered by the stories that have been told on this podcast that has been really empowering. That 17 years ago, I didn't, like, when I was your age in high school, which was hard to believe quite a few years ago, but I didn't think that people, because like those times like where I was bullied in school, and I didn't think that people would want to hear my story. And so now to hear from you and to be able to talk to many people in our community that were able to share our stories, and people are able to hear firsthand, authentically. Like, I don't do a lot of editing on this anymore because we want these authentic,
I love that.
real life stories.
I love that.
Firsthand. If you could, just two final wrap up questions. If you could describe the Speak Up and Eva, I'll let you answer first and then your parents. But if you could describe the Speak Up, Speak Out Summit in one word, what would it be?
We're all in this together.
That's more than one word.
I know it's difficult.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Together.
Together.
I would say inspiring.
Awesome. perfect. And when I had Zach Gano, who was the keynote speaker, he said, energizing.
Energizing is
which
right.
I actually had him sign his book for me.
Nice.
And that was one of the, I don't know if I should admit this on air. That was, in addition to hearing from you and many other self-advocates here, that was one of the reasons why I wanted us to have this live coverage here, was to be able to
Meet him.
to meet Zach.
The guy's amazing.
Yeah,
he's
is
amazing. What he's done is amazing. And what I love is that he gets his message across in a way where he kind of goes from comedy and making the whole room laugh to getting to the point and getting serious.
Yeah.
And, he kind of navigates that and he does it really well. He gets his point across, and
He does. Yeah.
I think what he's doing is amazing.
Yeah. I took 5 pages of notes during his keynote, and I think that what you said for Eva and for myself and many self-advocates, I think that's something that, whether you're both time speaking, whether you've been speaking for many years, the way that he shared his story through comedy and inspiring the audience, that's something that Eva, you and I and the hundreds here at this conference can take away from hearing Zach speak.
Right.
That I'm sure that the next speech that you give, you might even draw some of the skills that Zach gave.
I agree.
Awesome. I'm hoping many listening can to this podcast will want to come to next year's conference. And so as we wrap up, what's your message for and what's your message for others listening to this podcast who couldn't be here today about the Speak Up and Speak Out Summit, about your story? What's your message that you would like others listening to this podcast?
There's a couple. You are not alone. Everyone will love you. Disability or not, everyone will love you.
Awesome.
My message to everybody is get out here.
Yes.
Make it out to the next one. This is so amazing. It's so worth it. And the more people that come, the more voices that come together, the more powerful it is. So
Awesome.
Get out of here.
Yes, come on. And so we'll put links for those of you listening. Oh,
One more thing?
One more thing.
Get earbuds out of get earbuds out of the couch and get here.
That's
Awesome.
right.
So I'm sure that will empower and inspire all of you to get out. Thank you again, Eva and Mike and Alena. I'll try to read my notes here for coming on and stopping by our podcast booth. We've been live. You've been listening to our live coverage from the 2025 Speak Out Summit in Normal, Illinois, presented by the Alcova, Illinois. A big thank you to all the self-advocates, families, speakers, and community members who joined us on this on this live coverage series, sharing the powerful voices. If you enjoyed this conversation, hearing from Eva and her parents, please follow the Special Chronicles podcast on your favorite podcast app. If you're here at the conference, we've got a QR code that you can scan. And if you are not, the links will be in the description below. Like, subscribe on YouTube, podcast apps, do all those things that you do.
Subscribe.
Yeah.
Subscribe, like, scan the QR code now.
Yes. Thank you. Yeah. You know, when I was your age, Eva, I didn't know what podcast, what all this.
It was a newer thing.
It was a newer thing. Yeah. So I'm.
And also,
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Share this with your friends and family.
Yes. Share this episode. share this episode with your friends and family so maybe people can hear Ava's and all the stories here. SpecialChronicles.com/SUSO2025 for all the episodes from this conference, and subscribe to our newsletter and follow us on social media. We are not on TikTok because I do not understand that. So
Not yet, at least. We'll get there.
yeah, somebody will have to show me. Anyways, and until next time, thank you all, and we'll see you on the next episode.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.
I just want to say, we're not on.
Giving respect and a voice to people with special needs.
I was trying to hold back emotions because your story is almost similar to Daniel's. You know, it is very similar to Daniel's. His mom's water broke at, almost a little bit more than yours, like almost 4 months. They kept him somehow stable, but they told us that we might as well abort today because he probably won't make it. And his mom and I said, well, that's not going to happen. What's option 2? We're not giving up that easily.
Yeah.
So they kept it, and at a certain point, the water ruptured completely because the placenta was completely infected. So we're at the hospital, and they checked everything, and he says, well, he's still stable, another day. And about a minute later, everything crashes.
Yeah.
His heart stopped.
Oh.
And it was like an inside. He was still inside there. It was an emergency. I had never seen so many medical people running around. It was like they said, come on, we got to get you geared up. Because they took Daniel to one operating room, and right next to it was another one they took me, because as soon as they took him out, they put him in the one because they had to fix his mom up, and then Daniel. And I remember, it was very emotional. Like, you could relate to this. I had the neonatologist came in, and they're trying to revive Daniel, and they did. And the doctor comes over to me and tries to introduce himself and saying what we're going to do now. And I'm a dad like with a million questions.
Yeah.
So I started asking, well, what's this and this and this? And the doctor was really cool. He put his arm around me and says, I'll tell you what we're going to do. Let's deal with what's happening today. Tomorrow morning we'll have another conversation. Because he said, he's probably not going to make it through the day. 36 years later, this is the problem.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But one of the things that caught my attention, I think his dad was saying, but it relates to you, is you never give up. And early on, when he was in grade school,
Can you take one?
it was kind of tough. He got laughed at, he got bullied, nobody wanted to be friends with him. And, and one thing I told him at that point, Daniel.
I'm so excited. You guys did you do it already?
Yeah,
Yeah,
You did?
we just finished. Yeah, we